Hey everybody, Alex Kazora here from SteelersDepot.com, doing another kind of talk to the tape video as we always do for Wednesday or Thursday. Gonna hopefully keep this one relatively short. We'll see how that goes. It doesn't always happen when I say it, but it's about almost 2 a.m. here my time. Been trying to get around to this all day, trying to find a good topic to talk about. And today I want to stick with the offensive side of the football. And typically we either do scheme, maybe some underrated plays, or an underrated player. But today I'm going to do talk about an obvious player here, but his obvious impact on the game, the 31-13 win over the New York Jets. It's Le'Veon Bell, and he was more receiver than running back. I think Matthew Marksy had written about it. 9 catches in this game. The most he's ever had in his career, and this is a guy that's obviously caught, over 80 passes before in a season. And he's only the second running back in Steelers history to catch 9 passes in a game. Frank Harris did it 3 times. He has the record of 11 in a game. But I think just the impact that he had. We talk about what he offers as a runner, a little bit as a pass blocker, but obviously what he gives you as a receiver is huge for Ben. There's so much trust. There's so much confidence. And I think that there's a direct correlation between Ben's sack numbers and Le'Veon Bell being on the field, producing healthy and things like that. So I want to go through a couple of those plays today. Nothing too deep dive, so don't worry if you're not a crazy scheme person. We're not going to get into some super difficult, complicated, concepts, but we're just going to watch a playmaker like Le'Veon Bell in space do his thing, and he does it so effectively. So, 4 plays I want to look at today. The first one here is going to come early second quarter. And we'll get the aerial view here, the pre-snap look. Steelers are going to be, and they're going to motion into a 3-by-1. So you're going to get kind of this bunch look down here with Sammy Coates. I think that's Marcus Wheaton, Jesse James, and Antonio Brown up here as the X receiver. There's Le'Veon Bell in the backfield. A couple things to note here. You're going to get this bunch look, then you get this reduced split by number 1 here, Antonio Brown, the X receiver. What ends up happening is Bell's going to run into the flat, and then AB is going to run just a little, 5-yard curl route, and then you have your bunch, whatever's going on over here. It's not really the focal point of the play, but we're talking about getting Bell in space, and you can do that in a couple different ways, and we'll kind of go through some of that. But we're going to get him in space horizontally by reducing the split of number 1 here, drawing eyes, because Antonio Brown's the focal point for the Jets in any defense, and we're going to create that space here for Le'Veon Bell. So let's run this thing through. Here's the snap. Here's Antonio Brown, an inside release, going to run a curl route. You see all the eyes. There's the corner on him. The safety's playing over the top. They're trying to bracket him all day long. You can automatically see, Ben's already going for the football because he knows that, AB's drawing eyes. There's no linebacker. There's no flat defender. Some sort of breakdown here from the Jets. So let's get the ball to one of our best playmakers in space and let him do his thing. And so we'll run this too and let Le'Veon Bell, there's a good bit of yak here to make anybody miss. He makes, I think that's, I can't tell who that was. Marcus Williams, I think, pay for it. We'll look at the end zone angle here. Again, the motion, it's going to draw away 41 here, Buster Skrine. You don't get a great look at it here, I don't think. But here's Bell in space, and that's what you want your playmakers to be. It's an elongated run game. It's a simple, throw into the flat. But you're going to get major yards off of it because you have one of your best playmakers with the ball in space. Now defenders are trying to catch him when Bell's got speed and all the room in the world. And so ends up making I think that is Marcus Williams pay, gets 12 yards, gets the first down. Real other quick thing I'm going to look at here, just because I was almost going to do a talk to the tape on him, but I decided against it. Alejandro Villanueva. You're seeing that two-hand chop come back, which was kind of one of his go-to moves last year. Probably uses as a crutch too much, but just watch him here real quick. I think that's on Sheldon Richardson. You're going to see the chop and knock the hands away. I'll run this thing through full speed so you can see. I just wanted to point that out because I love seeing that from Villanueva. That's his best move, and it's really effective. And you can just see it just takes anybody to the ground. I've seen him, whether it's Michael Bennett or Carlos Dunlap or whoever. I mean, those guys go to the ground. But anyway, so I don't want to get sidetracked. One last look at it here. Again, motion Coates away to the bunch, man coverage, or at least the corner goes. I'm not sure if it is a man. Probably is. X receiver Antonio Brown with a reduced split, draws eyes, Bell in space, 12-yard gain, first down. World keeps on spinning. Next play, which I think might be the next, no, 2 plays later. Here's 2nd and 10 for the Steelers. And similar idea. We're going to motion. We're going to identify man versus zone here. We're going to give motion Antonio Brown. Skrine's going to follow. So now we have a good indication this is man coverage. It's no guarantee, but that is a good indication. Motion's going to help uncover, what the coverage might be. We're going to, again, motion to this bunch look. X receiver. His split is actually about the same because the ball's on the left hash this time. So we're going to relatively reduce the split of the receiver up top. I think that's Marcus Wheaton. Doesn't really matter. And it's actually Le'Veon Bell down here as part of the bunch. There's D-Will in the backfield. So now we're going to have both of them on the field, a pony look. Now we're going to get Bell standing up as a receiver, as if he was a slot receiver on this play. And so we're going to get this bunch route with Antonio Brown carrying vertical. And we basically get a pick and a rub here from Jesse James. That's what's going to open this up. You're going to see this kind of pick right here. You can see James, it's a little blurry, and for whatever reason, every time they wear the bumblebees, I feel like the quality isn't as good, just because the jerseys are they don't really mesh well with the coach's tape. But you're basically going to see him blocking the linebacker. You could always run the risk of an offensive pass interference, but it's so rarely called that you just basically create this rub for Bell on the out route, and again, corner, man coverage. I think it's actually probably 2-man here. You get your 2 deep shell trail technique underneath. Trying to protect over the top. And so you get Bell in space. Here's the defender trying to work underneath the pick. He's trailing now. You get Bell in space. Pass actually a tiny bit behind. And Bell is again able to get another 12 yards on this play. And you're going to get off coverage here because you're getting this bunch look. You can't have everybody up on the line because you can't have your guys all on the same level because then you're definitely going to get picked on a slant flat concept or any sort of anything like that. So Bell's not the point man here. He's kind of off the ball. He's going to get that free release. James is going to set a little rub route for him. The defender has to work underneath that. And I think that's I'm sure that defender is there, 27. But it doesn't really matter because no one's going to be able to really work off of that well. So we'll look at it one more time. And just another 12-yard gain there. It's a nice route by Bell, but it's the scheme that really opens things up. So we're going to move to the third quarter now. These last 2 plays, they come back to back actually. And they're similar ideas, but you win in different ways. And that's why I wanted to point it out. This is going to be another 11-yard gain here. It's still a 17-13 game, pretty late in the third quarter. So this is still a very competitive ball game, very much up in the air. And I'm actually going to show this from the end zone angle because you're going to get the best look at it from the end zone angle. Nothing too complicated here, but you're going to get kind of another sort of pick here. Jesse James is going to run a little 5-yard dig and, end up picking the linebacker here, Darren Lee, the rookie, and that's going to let Bell, because those guys almost always cross. If someone's running the dig, the tight end's running the dig, the back's, of course, going to go the opposite way because you're not going to go the same way, and it creates that little rub there. And now, you have a linebacker that was already on James, following James, and now Lee gets picked, and now you have, again, Le'Veon Bell in space to do his thing. Now you have a weapon in space, playmaker there. The other idea from this is, here's 3 vertical concepts. There's a, pretty vertical route, vertical stem, again, against a too high look for this play, so you know where to go with the football. And what this does is, again, I think it's probably another 2-man, coverage here. Have deep half, man coverage, trail technique underneath, take away the in-breaking routes. But whenever you expand a defense vertically, it opens up the underneath. So this is a way that vertical concepts can win, even if none of the vertical guys get open because it's taken away by good coverage. And especially man coverage, you end up losing some vision to the football. So instead of zone coverage, instead of these corners and everyone being able to read it, they're a little bit late to the football because now they have to react to where the ball is going. They don't have any peripheral vision to see where the ball is going out of the corner of their eye. So now guys are late to the football, like this guy here. That's screen, however you say it again. And, Bell gets 11-yard gain, gets another first down. And again, Will keeps on spinning, so we'll look at it from the end zone angle one more time. James going to set a pick on Lee. Bell in space, playmaker in space, first down. It could be D-Well. I mean, for that kind of concept, it could be anybody. Didn't have to be Bell, but, Ben gets the ball out quick because he knows, let's get the ball to Bell, our best guy. Basically, again, treating him like a number 2 receiver on this team. Next play here is a whole different play for the record. Very next one. Same idea, but Bell's just going to win his matchup because this is where Bell really excels one-on-one with linebackers. I mean, he's done it to everybody in the league. Brian Cushing, remember that a couple years ago? He got a big 40, 50 some yard gain off of that. Or I think might have been a primetime game even. Not important, but you're just gonna watch me. Again, you might get. I think James might be trying to set a little bit of a pick here, but 58, Aaron Henderson comes under it, so there ends up not being a pick here. James is just gonna run his drag, because if James tries to really pick him here, and if he makes it like he's trying, he's probably gonna get called for it. At least there's a greater chance of it, and you don't need some dumb penalty to stall a drive. Especially with your team in the lead and trying to put up more points. So Bell's just gonna, read this is an option route. Probably, you could go vertical, you could go left. Maybe I know James is going that way, but you're trying to set up the linebacker and you're trying to read where he's at and go the way that he is, the way he's not prepared to go. Now Henderson's kind of, just a little flat-footed there. But Bell's just gonna make him look silly, and that's just I'll run that thing full speed because that's a beauty to watch. Bell just be able to set up with his hips and his eyes and shoulders and just fake out a linebacker like that. Now Henderson is certainly not a great athlete. He's not a Darren Lee. That's a matchup to exploit. But we're just gonna kind of go frame by frame here. Bell. It's like patience in the hole. Him as a running back. He's kind of gonna set things up, read the linebacker. Fake one way, go the other in an instant. And by that point, there's no way to catch up. And of course, here you're one-on-one in space. There's no help for the linebacker to give like he would possibly on a run play. So we're just going to give that little shake, and you see, plant that left foot in the ground, kind of give that fake. See, the eyes are going to the left. Henderson thinks, that's where it's going because he's reading the eyes, not reading the hips. And that's about as bad as a linebacker can look. And Ben's reading it the whole way. He knows where the ball's going. He knows that Bell is going to win one-on-one. There's no question where this football is going on this play. And again, Bell in space. You get a nice gain. I think this is a gain of 6 for this play. And you move into Jets territory. You end up getting a good drive. I steal a score off of this, I think. Right? Let's find out before I wrap this video up. Yes, a touchdown to AB to start off the fourth quarter. That puts them up 2 possessions, and the Steelers kind of dominate the game from there. So one last look at it. Bell on Aaron Henderson. That is a matchup to win by Bell every single time. It's a nice gain. And that's what Le'Veon Bell brings you. Special receiver. You can do everything with him that you could, with a regular receiver. You can scheme it, horizontally, vertically, and when Bell needs to win one-on-one, he's going to most of the time. So that's what makes Le'Veon Bell so special. And glad he's on our side, the Steelers side, because that's a guy you hate to defend because it's really difficult to. And if you stop him even 2 ways, he's going to beat you a third or a fourth. It's hard to shut a guy like that down completely. He's not an Adrian Peterson, where if you can bottle up the run game and put 8 in the box and really sell out, you could stop Adrian Peterson. Bell, you can stop him against the run, but you're not going to stop him total. His impact's still going to be felt. So I wanted to show you guys Le'Veon Bell, showing kind of why he's the best back in the league. He talked about being a complete, player, runner, blocker, receiver. Here's the receiving end of it. So I'll end this here. Went a little bit longer than usual, but that's common for me. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.